You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. Over here, you've got this giant, amazing, ambitious goal, and then over there is the, let's be honest, kind of frustrating reality of what you actually got done today. So what's really going on? What's the thing that's stopping us from bridging that huge gap?
Well, let me just ask you this directly. What if your own brilliant, super detailed plans are the very things holding you hostage? I know, it sounds a little crazy, but it turns out that over-planning, well, it can be a really sophisticated, really sneaky form of paralysis. So let's get to the bottom of this. Let's identify the real enemy here, because it's probably not what you think it is. It's almost never a lack of desire or talent or passion. Nope, it's the sheer, crushing, overwhelming weight of the great plan itself.
Okay, so there's actually a name for this feeling of being totally stuck: analysis paralysis. It's that endless loop of doing more research, tweaking the plan, making another spreadsheet. You basically think yourself into a corner until absolutely no action is ever taken. Wow, that really puts it perfectly, doesn't it? This is so much more than just a clever phrase. It's a serious warning. Just think for a second about how many incredible ideas, businesses, and dreams have simply died while we were all busy just getting ready to begin. And look, this isn't some new age productivity problem. There's this ancient piece of wisdom that basically says, hey, if you just keep watching the wind, you're never going to plant a single seed. In other words, if you sit around waiting for the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. So, if waiting for perfection is the trap, how the heck do we get out of it? Well, we have to start by taking a hammer to this whole idea, this myth of the perfect plan itself. This visual just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got this giant, impossible cliff face. That's the all-or-nothing plan. The friction is so high, the fear is so great, you never even take the first step. But then on the right, you have the small step strategy. The friction is super low, it's easy to start, and every single step builds this unstoppable momentum. And this really is the simple truth at the heart of it all. A clumsy, awkward, imperfect step forward right now is infinitely more powerful than the most beautiful, perfect plan that never leaves your desk. Okay, so if the big plan is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's all about the incredible, almost counterintuitive power of taking small, consistent actions. And this isn't some new productivity hack. This is timeless wisdom. I mean, just look at nature for a second. It gets this principle perfectly. How does a massive towering oak tree happen? It starts with a single, tiny, vulnerable acorn. Nature never seems to be in a rush, yet everything gets accomplished, all through small, consistent growth. There's this fantastic old proverb that just nails it. You don't move a mountain in one go. You don't even think about the summit. You just focus on the one small stone right in front of you. You move it, and then you do it again. Ultimately, this all comes down to a huge shift in mindset. We have to stop confusing planning with progress. Planning is just the map. The real journey, the real growth, it only ever happens in the messy, imperfect, and beautiful act of doing. All right, now this is where things get really, really exciting. Let's actually look at the math, the real payoff. What are the long-term results of these tiny, immediate actions? The answer? Well, it's kind of staggering. So let's start with a number that's almost laughably small. 15 minutes a day. That's it. It's so small you can't even make an excuse not to do it. You can spend more time than that just scrolling, trying to decide what to watch. But look what happens when you're just consistent. That tiny 15 minutes a day, it compounds into over 90 hours in a single year. That's 2 full 40-hour work weeks. Just imagine what you could learn or build or create with 2 extra dedicated work weeks every single year. And this right here, it reveals this huge psychological blind spot that we all have. We dramatically overestimate what we can do in one heroic, all-out day, but we catastrophically underestimate what we can achieve in a year of those small, almost boring, consistent steps. This quote just reframes the entire choice, doesn't it? The effort today, that little bit of discipline, it feels like nothing. It weighs ounces. But the weight of looking back a year from now filled with regret, man, that weighs tons. So let's make this real. Let's make this practical. This final section is your call to action, a way to turn all this insight into an immediate, concrete step you can take the second this is over. So how do you break the freeze right now? It's this simple 3-step process. 1,
Pick one thing you've been overthinking. 2, shrink it down to the absolute smallest, tiniest, least intimidating first action possible. And 3, you do it for just 5 minutes, immediately.
Because that's the whole secret. It's not about doing everything on your massive to-do list. Your only job, your only mission, is to do the first, smallest thing, and to do it right now. This quote from Teddy Roosevelt is the ultimate excuse killer. You don't need better tools. You don't need more time. You don't need a different place. The real power is in starting with exactly what you have right where you're standing. So let this be your new command. Stop the endless cycle of thinking about it. Put down the pen you're using to make yet another list. Just start. And I'll leave you with this one final thought. The person you're going to be a year from now is going to look back at this very moment. The only question is, will they look back with regret or with gratitude that this was the day you finally began?